I'm getting ripped tonight. R.I.P. that this stop is.
What am I working for? Just to get money? To have it temporarily so I can pay bills and give it back to the government?
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Also ignore my getup. I got smacked by reality.
진짜 어떡해.
So my friend is visiting Korea, and obviously one of the most important things when you're traveling is how to get around. To be honest, I was really scared of the public transit system at first, but it's way cheaper rather than constantly calling taxis unless you I noticed that there were a lot of other videos detailing how to use the public transit system, but those were kind of outdated. I'll have all the chapters labeled if you want to skip around to the different parts, but everything should be organized in kind of chronological order of step by step. I'm also going to be looking at my phone for notes, so if you see me looking at my phone, no you didn't. And lastly, if you guys want some open source notes of everything described in this video, feel free to comment down below and I'd be happy to provide that for you guys. Without further ado, let's start. First stop is buying the transit card or the tmoney card from the convenience store. Right now, I am in front of our local GS25. This is not sponsored by the way, but let's take a look inside. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다. That was a really awkward interaction. I think she thought I was buying a tmoney card. I got this like last year. I've seen a lot of like BTS ones. If you do want to ask for it, you can say in Korean, 혹시 tmoney 카드 파세요? Putting more money into them at convenience stores. tmoney 카드 충전하고 싶어요. And then give them your card, give them the amount of money. It's usually only cash that you can give, so you can't pay through credit card for a refund. For example, let's say you're leaving the country and have a tmoney card and there's still some money left on it, what you would do is go, I don't think you have to go specifically to the store that you bought it from, but I think it has to be the same chain. Don't quote me on that. So you would give them your card. There will be a service fee charge, and I don't think they refund the cost of the card itself. And you can't do partial refunds. You have to get the whole amount that's on the card refunded. tmoney cards range from around $1 to $2. And I know there's a lot of special type of deals, stuff you can just order online that you can buy with a SIM card too. I will link down below the resources for that. Now let's head to the subway station. Sometimes I wonder how much these fans spend on these advertisements. Subway stations here typically have a bunch of stuff connected to them. You like an apartment or a shopping mall. Make note of that while you're trying to navigate through. For instance, restaurants. Every station has a bathroom too. This is where I go when I have social anxiety. A lot of mirrors. Phone charging stations, one of the machines, public transportation card, single-use tickets. I don't know what this is. You recharge a card.
Place your transit card.
Place it right here. Select whatever amount you want.
충전을 완료하였습니다.
Deposit or refund machine or one-time use cards. Insert the ticket here, get your change here. There are usually lockers located in subway stations if you want to drop off stuff to hold if you're going somewhere. This station doesn't have any lockers. The next thing you should do is download either Kakao or Naver maps. Do not use Google Maps. Trust me on this one. Treat her like your toxic ex. Avoid her at all costs.
Tell her I love her. I still love her. You gotta leave, yo.
It's just not going to be useful at all. So each have their own perks. I like Naver because it's more English friendly. It shows you real time where you are. It's also easier if you're like looking up places to eat. One tip before you type in like where you want to eat. Let's say I want to eat near Gangnam-Gucheongyuk. I would set my screen so that the area is around Gangnam-Gucheongyuk, and then I would type in 맛집 and it would find all the restaurants or like good places. 맛집 means trendy places or like frequented spots to eat. So they show reviews, general information like closing times, the menu. Sometimes some of the restaurants might be out of business and it hasn't been updated. Also because of COVID and all of the curfew stuff, some of the hours might not be updated. Let's go through the entire process using an example scenario with Naver Maps. The first thing you're going to do is open the map. Here we want to go to Olympic Park, choose the location, different modes of transport, bus, car, or you can walk. You can change the times of when you're thinking of departing, which is really useful if you're planning an itinerary or schedule ahead of time. Here I set it to tomorrow at 2:32 p.m. You can sort options depending on your preferences. I always choose the fastest because yeah boy.
Got a blast!
gonna choose this one. It tells you which station to board and which line, which are usually noted by color and number, and sometimes just the name of the line. We're taking the Suin Bundang line first, and that is the yellow line. It also marks all of the upcoming stops, so you can keep track of when to get off. So now we're gonna enter through the gates, swipe your card, follow the signs to where the direction you're headed towards. In this case, we're headed towards Seongjeonneung Station, escalator etiquette in general in Korea. If you're not gonna walk through the escalators, just stand on the right side. And if you're gonna walk, use the left side of the elevator. Subways are usually divided into two sides, each side with the train going in the opposite direction. If you're not sure which side to take, there are signs that point toward the next stop that the train is headed. Times are also listed on when your train should be arriving. The good thing about both Kakao and Naver maps is they show where the fast transfer is. So this is the platform number you should be going in order to make the fastest transfer possible. We're gonna be going on platform 2-4. Note that each car has 4 platforms. They're listed 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and 1-4 for the first car, and etc for the rest of the cars. Before getting onto the car, stand on the sides and wait for the people to get out first. After they finish getting off, you can yeet onto the car. There will typically be a seat marked for pregnant people. Even if there's no one sitting there, do not sit there. There's usually a fine for people who get caught doing that. There's also an elderly section, typically closest to the ends of each car. Also, don't sit there if it's empty. Most people try to distance themselves one empty seat in between. Please try to do this too for the sake of mitigating any spread of the virus. Usually there are maps or little monitors, and the subway car itself also gives announcements that update you on which stop is next. The app should tell you which door of the car to exit, and the announcements will also tell you at every stop. Once you leave the train car, there will be signs that direct you to either exiting or transferring. Here we're gonna transfer. For this particular route, it's telling us to use the Rapid Express or Kupeng. The Rapid Express skips some stops. The other one stops at every single stop. These trains operate using the same platform, so it's really easy to get on the wrong one. The screens should tell you which type of car is arriving to. Pro tip, if you accidentally get onto the normal one and it's like too late to exit the car, wait until it stops by a station that has a rapid line service and then get off there and wait for the next rapid one. You can use elevators to get to the surface if you have any luggage, and make note of which exit you have to get out of. There should be just a bunch of signs that have all of the like exit numbers and stuff. Briefly going over how to use Kakao Maps, type in Olympic Park. It also has departure time service. These are all of the different routes. You can organize by bus, subway, or bus subway, which is pretty neat. If you scroll down to the bottom, it shows how much a Kakao taxi is. Let's talk about using the bus and bus transfers. On the bus, there's a front door and kind of like a middle door, or you can see a right door and left door. Whenever you get on, always use the front door or the right door. Sometimes if the bus is really full, you can also try to get in through the middle door. As long as you scan your tmoney card, it should be fine. You get on the bus, you scan the card, choose a seat. There are also pregnant ladies, elderly seats. For buses, it's okay to sit in the elderly / pregnant lady seats as long as no one needs it. Obviously, give that seat up if someone who is pregnant or elderly comes onto the bus. Pro tip, I try to pick the seats that are closest to the exit. Sometimes it's hard to push your way through a crowd of people and get off the bus stop in time. But I know the signs on the bus say try not to leave your seat before the bus actually stops. No one really follows that. When you're about to arrive at your stop, ring the bus buzzer, get on your way out. Taxis are pretty easy to grab. I use Kakao Taxi. It's basically like the Uber or Lyft in Korea. For me, because I live here and I have a debit card, I can pay ahead of time without having to scan my card. For those of you who are in that similar situation, be careful because sometimes you might accidentally auto pay and then they'll ask you to pay again in person with your card. If that happens, just say, oh, I already paid through the auto pay. You can generally call taxis on any street. There's probably going to be a lot more on the main streets or the larger roads. So there are usually like LED light things that indicate whether it's being used or free. Gincha means empty car. Yeak means reserved. For those of you who are interested in using Kakao Taxi, Olympic Park, it shows you different options. Venti is spacious and more comfortable for like if you want a chiller ride with more people. Blue is faster. Deluxe is also nicer. I think black is like luxury cars, I always go with general request because it's the cheapest. If you zoom in on the map here, this is like your current location. You can adjust this by moving it around. You can set it as the start point. You can also do the same for wherever your destination is. This is really useful for if you want to get dropped off at a specific part. Let's say we want to get dropped off here. We set the destination and then we choose our taxi. It'll give you a live location of where they are. So let's go over some of the do's and don'ts of public transit etiquette here in Korea. First thing, no eating, smoking, drinking at any time. You can't have open drinks, like drinks in plastic cups you get from Starbucks. I think it's okay if the lid's closed, but if there's like a straw in it, you can't do that. Don't be that person and play music out loud or talk on the phone. It's considered very rude. Try to give up your seat to any elderly or pregnant people, even if it's just a regular seat. One time when I tried to give up my seat to an elderly person, this young person swooped in before I could go to the elderly person and say, oh, you can take my seat. But the thing is, I knew this young person knew what I was doing because they saw me walk towards the elderly person, and that's when they sat down. Don't be like that, bitch.
This is the shit that I hate.
People will push you to try to get through, and they don't say excuse me. Honestly, don't mind that and don't make a big deal out of it. It's pretty normal here. It would take so long if you kept saying excuse me. Pushing is literally the only way. Feel free to do this too. Obviously, don't meet people out. Just kind of like wiggle through. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Feel free to comment below how useful this is, and I hope you enjoyed your stay here. As usual, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more creative content. And remember, be the main character in your own life.